I also asked Gates where he lands on the topic we talk about virtually every day on this program, Bitcoin, and how he thinks about the cryptocurrency in the context of climate change, seeing as how Bitcoin takes enormous amounts of energy to digitally mine.
I don't own Bitcoin. I'm not short Bitcoin, so I've taken a neutral view. I do think, moving money into a more digital form and getting transaction costs down, that's something the Gates Foundation does in developing countries. But there we do it so that you can reverse the transactions, so you have total visibility of who's doing what. So it's not about tax avoidance or illegal activity. But Bitcoin can go up and down, just based on the mania or whatever the views are. And I don't have a way of predicting how that will progress.
It's where he went.
That's freaking awesome, right?
Sharmini, you and the team at Goldman Sachs Research are out with a new report called China Net Zero, the Clean Tech Revolution, in which you explore China's recent pledge to become carbon neutral. Explain why China is so important to this effort and what we know about the pledge so far.
Well,
So
hold on. I'll tell you why China's
It's huge in terms of its scale. As a country, it accounts for 30% of global emissions, but also it's accounted for 64% of the increase in global emissions that we've seen since 2000. Now, the country has said that it's targeting to get to peak emissions by 2030 and to get to net zero by 2060, which is slightly further out than other countries' pledges, which generally anchor around 2050. However, it's still ambitious as a target given the growth rate of China as a country. The other important fact to note is that the country has significantly reduced its emission intensity per unit of GDP in the last 20 years, and it only stands behind the UK in terms of its progress on that front. In terms of the details, we don't really have much beyond peak emissions in 2030 and net zero by 2060. Next month, there'll be details in the 14th five-year plan, which will really give us a sense of the roadmap towards 2060.
It's your platform partner, your hustling homie Jackson, all about helping you take action. And right now, VeChain is about to potentially explode, and also the value of cryptocurrency is going to continue to grow during this bull run. Right now, we just heard from Bill Gates. That was very interesting how he acted as if he was kind of nonchalant about, hey, I heard of Bitcoin, I'm kind of neutral. And he had a little smirk on his face. Most likely, this dude is sitting on a super duper bag of Bitcoin in addition to probably several other coins. I wouldn't be surprised. Remember, these billionaires and very elite folks, a lot of times they hold their cards to the chest about what they're actually sitting on. But also, when we looked at the other clip about China, and one thing that was really interesting, look, 30% of all of the global emissions is coming from China. I mean, this is a massive country that is producing a lot of manufacturing, and it's to the point where they cannot sustain that. The air quality is low, and they need to do something different. And so this is why I believe VeChain has a huge opportunity to help, because with VeChain's new relationships, it will allow to begin to really track things on a global level. I'm talking about tracking everything from products to groceries, produce, to almost everything you can think of, that entire supply chain. And when that begins to happen, I think China was one of those, is the perfect example of is showing how we need more transparency, so that way we are not continuing to produce so much of these negative pollution from places like China, and we can see and verify, like, hey, my products are coming from other places, and so now we have more transparency. And we see VeChain is also having some of the partnerships that are going live, and if you don't know anything about VeChain, I mean, a lot of this is a product and a program where there's a lot of relationships that are here. Unfortunately, a lot of those relationships have not been live on chain, and so now we have these new groups are now actually going on the network and beginning to get activated and using the products more. So that's going to increase the money flow for those who are holding on VeChain. Again, it's not financial advice. I'm just telling you what it looks like. Well, I'm looking at this tweet here. It says, hey, I'm happy to tell you that we're finally on board and started verifying products with the VeChain Thor blockchain. Okay, that is ASI Group. Okay, you can look them up, do some more information on them. Okay, so outside of that, also I want to mention that Coinbase has just recently also announced that they will be starting Ethereum staking. So you can get on that waiting list for that. You know how I feel. I'm not a huge fan of Coinbase. They're not my favorite place. But, you know, if you're on there and you're a brand new person and you got the option to stake, you can stake. I believe you can make about 7.5% off of your Ethereum in that wallet, which is great, you know, for those folks who don't have a lot of Ethereum. You know, that's a great way to earn some interest on your money. You just got to understand the pros and cons, because you're going to have to lock up your money most likely for a period of time. So that means they're going to have access to your Ethereum and you won't be able to move it for a certain amount of time. So you got to keep that in mind. Do you want to own your asset yourself and you monetize your asset, or do you want to relinquish that asset of Ethereum and allow them to give you 7.5%? By the way, I think 2.5% of that they're charging. So I think it's a 10% fee total, but we'll look more into that on another video. Also, the IPO for Coinbase is coming out as well. That's big news too, because if that Coinbase IPO, once that hits, guys, that's, you know, I think the evaluation for Coinbase was something like $77 billion for a Coinbase evaluation. So that is massive. I mean, Bitcoin itself is, I think, at maybe not at 900 billion. So if Coinbase is coming in at almost 80 billion, that's almost 10% of the value of Bitcoin, guys. So that's huge. That's really, really huge. Also, moving on to other things I want you guys to be aware of. This is a little more advanced, but the smart contracts are beginning to change the game. Okay, Binance Smart Chain is beginning to truly change the game. If you don't know about Binance Smart Chain, Binance just recently updated their Binance chain. Well, basically, if you don't know, DeFi, decentralized finance. In the past, DeFi was initially on Ethereum. This is where you have a lot of those DeFi coins. You can go to DeFiPost.com. In fact, here, let me show you DeFi Post. Okay, and I'll make another video where I kind of go into detail about this here. But I want to show you the difference between what was going on with Ethereum and what's going on right now with Binance, the difference between the two. And we can talk real briefly about why you should be paying attention to what's going on there. Now, here is DeFi Station, okay? And then we're going to look at DeFi Post. So DeFi Post, this is all underneath the Ethereum coin. This is a part of the Ethereum network. So you see there's $41 billion that's locked up here. The main coins that are really pumping here, we can look, we see Maker, Aave, Compound, Curve Finance, Uniswap, SushiSwap, right? All of these projects are underneath Ethereum. These are lending programs, DEXs, derivative payments. These are paying high yield, and we saw these tokens explode. They exploded literally by 200, 300, sometimes 1,000% over about 4-month period. What's interesting is right now this 41 billion has been stagnant for probably at least the last 30 days. So here we had DeFi that was exploding. Last 30 days though, it's been kind of moving sideways along with the price of Ethereum. We can see here, well, it's still, you know, it's steady growing. It's just not growing as much. We see here February the 7th, it was at 30, looks like it was at 34 billion. And so now it's going from 34 billion to 41 billion since February the 7th. Now let's compare that to the Binance Smart Chain. So we come here, there's $8.7 billion. This is the same thing. I mean, we got decentralized finance, except it's not Ethereum. This is dealing with the Binance token. Okay, this is why the Binance token is exploding. That BNB token is because of, you need the BNB token in order to get access to all of these projects here. So projects like PancakeSwap, Venus, Auto Farm, all of these tokens, generally the Binance token is the general one to get you involved in all of this. We see that since that same, remember I said February 7th, on February 7th, there was only $1.8 billion here. And so right now we're at $8 billion in this. So about $7 billion in growth since February 7th. So that's like over the past 11 days, you got $7 billion have come here, mostly because there's cheaper fees. You do a transaction here, you're probably going to pay maybe under $1 versus if you try to use Uniswap, you try to do a transaction to get in those projects, you may be paying upwards of, I saw a transaction for $250. I seen something where, you know, somebody was trying to send a transaction for $30, but they were charging them $150 to send the $30 transaction. This was using Uniswap and using Ethereum. So those Ethereum gas fees are extremely high. But if you can come here, do the same thing, you can earn more yield and pay less fees. One thing I know is less fees, it means more velocity and more speed. So it only makes sense, in my opinion, for this to continue to grow. Again, this is not financial advice. You gotta, you know, understand it's very risky. You could lose all of your money. So move smart, okay? You gotta have a plan, do your own research. All right, especially when you're dealing with this here. When you're dealing with Binance Chain, it's using a different chain. I'll make a video about it, show you how you can do it, how you can get your MetaMask wallet and set it up. Also, I have it in a class as well, so you can, you know, figure out, because it's not difficult to do. You just need some instruction on how to do it, because you got to change your MetaMask wallet onto a different network, and then when you transfer coins there, you're transferring it using the Binance Smart Chain network instead of using the Ethereum network. So it's some small things you got to do, but if you don't do it, you don't do it right, you'll lose a lot of money. So it's already risky. You know, take your time, guys, but I believe this place is really going to explode. I'll talk about this in another video, but I just wanted to share that with you. We also see Pancake Swap exploding, the price of Pancake going crazy. We see the price of Berry token going crazy. You're probably saying, what are some of these tokens? These are all, again, tokens that are underneath this Binance Smart Chain. These are projects, these are yield farming projects. It's not for the brand new person, but if you want to really learn about this is more advanced. I'll make more videos about that, and we'll talk more about that in the future. Overall, that price of Ethereum right now, looks like it's been suppressed. People been holding it down. What's going on with Ethereum? I believe that it's been manipulated. It has to be manipulated. If we look at the volume of Ethereum, I think there's no question that Ethereum's been manipulated. It literally is doing over, let's look at it here. So Ethereum is at $1,900 right now. So we're looking at, it has volume of about $35 million that's moving. However, the price of Ethereum has not changed much in the past week. I mean, we've been from only about a $1,000 increase, but you have over $30 billion in daily volume. So manipulation is happening here. But sometimes when you think that it's not going to explode is when it takes off. So be very, very in tune with what's going on. Have your risk and your plan ready. Also, we see other coins that are blowing up. We see this Binance coin just continuing to explode here, and that is why this Binance coin is exploding, because of the new smart chain project. So make sure you like this video, subscribe to the page, guys. Let me put some comments down there. Also, if you don't have access to Binance and you're like, hey, how can I buy the Binance chain token? How can I also buy the Elron token? How can I get some Ethereum? You can do all of that with the app in the link below. I have a link to the Meyer app. It's one of the easiest ways to get active in cryptocurrency. Download that directly to your phone. Plus, you can earn commissions as well when you share this with other people. So look at my link below in the description. Download that Meyer app. You can buy that Binance coin right there. And I believe this coin can potentially hit maybe $1,500 over the next 90 days or maybe even sooner. It just depends. But yeah, so the Binance coin is exploding. Elron, Team Elron all day. That coin is it's cooled off a little bit, but I think you know, crypto is an interesting space, man, because everything changes every day. I still think good blue chip projects like Elron are going to continue to grow. Sometimes, you know, it just moves in spurts, right? So with that being said, stay in tune. Click on the links, you know, help support the channel. I really appreciate you, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.